Welcome to a color compare of, well, I don't know what to really call this category. It's sort of camo-ish green colors of some kind. Anyways, we have these 6 colors to look at today. So from the Army Painter SpeedPaint, we have the Malignant Green and the Camo Cloak. And then from Citadel, we have Plaguebearer Flesh, Gutrippa Flesh, Creed Camo, and Millitarum Green. So we do kind of have this trend here. We looked at the flesh colors for maybe humanoid or human skin, and I said, oh, any of the other flesh is kind of an orky flesh or something else. I didn't put in that because it's like green. Well, this is Gutrippas and Plaguebearer, so there you go. So they're appearing here alongside this kind of maybe military colors and camo colors. Immediately, we can already kind of start to pair these up. In fact, I don't think anybody would be surprised to say that Army Painter's name for Malignant Green is really, just to kind of hint at it might be for the same thing as this Plaguebearer Flesh. One thing to keep in mind if you're seeing them on the swatch sticks, these little splatters, and thankfully they didn't really get on the part that I had to paint, is from my Gutrippa Flesh leaking all over the place and being nasty. So these two colors, very, very similar and comparable. Very, very nice. I don't know what to say about them other than they're pretty much the same, and you could use either one. Though notice something about these. Okay, let's look at that really closely. Plaguebearer Flesh from Citadel. A little more of a brown underlying tone to it. Malignant Green from the Army Painter. A little more of a bright yellowish kind of underlying tone. Actually, the Plaguebearer Flesh does look like it got a couple of dots. But look at the bottom pack of this. So, very similar, but you see that difference. Just a subtle difference there. And honestly, if you like one of those differences better than the other, go for it. I'm really liking this yellow undertone quite a bit rather than the brown. But that's up to you what you like. We'll now look at the other idea here, which is, Creed Camo, Camo Cloak. Look at this. So Army Painter kind of maybe trying for something like this, though definitely putting their take on it. And so look at that. You have two, what I would call very different colors there. I mean, they're more similar to each other than maybe a lot of other colors, but as far as greens go, there's some good difference there. And welcome difference. I like that. Let's see how maybe this Millitarum Green kind of fits in. And we'll leave Gutrippa Flesh out for just a moment. Check that out. That's a nice trio of colors. I could see using all 3 of those. None of them quite maybe replaces the other, which is very, very interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and do this real quick. We're going to grab the Gutrippa Flesh in with the Plaguebearer Flesh to see kind of which direction that's going. And not to be too surprised that it's going in more of a green direction there, right? So, very similar behavior to this Plaguebearer Flesh, but that's the Gutrippa Flesh, and that's the one that's splattered all over the place. Kind of still a little bit annoyed at that. Oh well, paint pots, right? Gutrippa versus the Millitarum, we are looking at a lot more of a letting the highlights through on the Gutrippa Flesh, and it's definitely a kind of a brighter, more yellowy green versus that Millitarum Green's more of a muted one like you'd expect. That would be really cool on this Millitarum Green on like any kind of military style uniform, what is it, fatigues or drabs or whatever you call those. Reed Camo and Camo Cloak, grabbing those in there then. Let's kind of make a little bit of a spectrum here. Look at that. That's a nice spectrum of colors. Very, very nice. Each with its own kind of unique thing that it brings to the table. So here's what I kind of want to do with this. Honestly, what I'm thinking of doing with these colors is, because I have all of them, right? Would I buy all of them? No, but since I have all of them, I'm thinking you could make maybe an interesting camouflage cloak, starting with something like this fairly light Gutrippa Flesh, and then while it's still wet, like dabbing selectively some of these yellows and darker greens all around it. I think that might make a beautiful little camouflage cloak. I might have to try it. I happen to have a miniature that would look really good on. So we will see if I can get that filmed up or if I end up having to focus too much on the painting. Alright, so again, I always like to say which of these would I buy if I owned none of them. And honestly, I don't paint a lot of this color. These were some of the last colors of Citadel that I bought. And so I don't know that I need any of these for what I paint. I will say this, if you're going for some Death Guard, pick up, Nurgly stuff. Pick up one of these for sure. And you might as well just use the Malignant Green. Get the army paint or the full set of the speed paints. Then you'll have that, and you'll have this Camo Cloak too. And I think that'll do ya. The only deviation from that is if you say, hey, I really want to do my Gutrippas in contrast. Yeah, there you go. That's a neat little color. The real tell, I think, on this is going to be getting these colors next to the other greens that we've compared before. And that will be a future video, and maybe I'll have some more thoughts then on ones that I would actually buy for things that I paint. Alright, well, I hope this was useful in picking these colors for your next project. Let me know what you're working on down in the comments. Always like to hear what folks are doing. And yeah, take care. Thanks for watching. Let's get gaming.